Hello everyone. Today we would like to talk about what esports can bring to Olympic movement. This is context. Firstly is introduction, and secondly is fundamental key issue. Thirdly is main issues, and finally is conclusion and suggestion. Firstly is about definition of esport. Esport is a sport that uses video games to play. With the increasing influence of games on economy and society, esports has become a kind of sports competition and is a game to achieve the level of competition. And it is performed by using electronic equipment such as computer, game console, arcade machine, and mobile phone. But the operation emphasizes the intelligence and the reaction between people. As people pay more and more attention to esports, whether esports can enter the Olympic Games has been mentioned many times recently. Today we will discuss what esports can bring to the Olympic Games and esports is a sport or not. This is fundamental key issue. Cindy will focus on this part.
Okay, on this part, I will introduce the key issues of esport. The first key issue is esport is a sport or not. Second is esport organization has been not recognized by International Olympic Committee. Third is popularity of esport. Okay, uh, with the development of esports, there are many controversies over whether esport is a sport or not. At the recorder side, considering whether a thing is a sport should be considered from four factors. Um, Number one, involve physical activity. Number two, practice for recreational purpose. Number three, involve an element of competition. Number four, organizational framework. Many people will measure whether a sport is a sport based on these four factors. However, in these factors, the physical activity has become the main controversial factor. Some people think that esport is a sport because esport not only requires clear thinking but also relies heavily on physical skills, and the cooperation between thought and body is more important. But some people disagree with this view because esports players are physically engaged in different ways. As a vehicle side, esports players have a balanced body, but they cannot mimic the movements of the visual avatar. They just use their keyboard and mouse to manipulate the virtual avatar. So for this debate, it is still uncertain whether esport is a sport. Okay, let's move on the second key issue of esport. At an important meeting in 2018, the International Olympic Committee President Thomas said the violence in many esport games is contrary to the spirit of the Olympics and cannot be accepted by the Olympics family. At the same meeting, a Global Association of International Sports Federations President Patrick said he saw the huge commercial value of esports and recognized the esports requirements for players' health. but he believes that the current regulation and the standard of esports and the construction of international organizations are an important issue at present. And therefore, the organizational structure of esports has become a problem. If the esports wants to be recognized by International Olympic Committee and Global Association of International Sports Federations, um, esports needs further development in the construction and management standards of international organizations. The third key issue is popularity of esports. As we all know, esports are very popular among young people. The massive popularity of esports has even infiltrated collegiate athletics. For example, in June of 2014, Robert Miro University in Pittsburgh became the first university to recognize esport as a variety sport supported by the athletics department and offer gaming scholarships for this esport athlete. But the population of male and females participating in esport is different. Generally speaking, the male ratio is higher than that of females. Unlike this phenomenon, in a meeting of the International Olympic Committee, the International Olympic Committee decided to add 3-3 basketballs as the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, and the mission that this can make the game more useful and attractive. The president of International Olympic Committee, Thomas, said that the Tokyo Olympics will be younger, more urban, and will include more women. Okay, next part, my group member will talk about the main issue of esports.
Next, we chose our main case study as esports can be included into Olympic Games. Recently, IOC faced growing pressure to allow esports into the Olympic movement. As the background of the issue, firstly, the popularity of esports has been increased very fast, especially among young people. And esports is a demonstration event in 2018 Asian Games. Furthermore, esports will be one of the main events in 2022 Asian Games. So esports federations want to be a part of Olympic Games. So and we found how sports bodies address this issue. Firstly, in perspective of the International Esports Federation, the federation clearly wants esports to be recognized as a sports activity and to be a part of Olympic Games. Esports have some factors which a sport should have, for example, international federation, international leagues, annual championship leagues, and lots of players, huge marketing business and popularity, especially to young people, and it is also competitive sports. Additionally, the federation board member said esports will be a true sport beyond language, race, and cultural barriers. And they highlighted that esports have a fast growth trend to young people. They believe that esports will bring a positive value to Olympic movement. Next, for the perspective of the IOC statement is negative yet. The president of IOC, Bah, said that esports have to prove their value itself for not only physical activity but also other values related to Olympic movement. Additionally, he mentioned that any games with violent factors will never be a part of Olympic Games. On the other hand, the IOC agrees with that esports are showing strong and fast growth, especially within young people across the world, and it can provide a platform for engagement with the Olympic movement. It is also related to the recent action of the IOC. Five new sports have been added to 2020 Tokyo Olympic. The president said that the reason of the five new sports added is to regain youth popularity. Next, we are going to talk about short-term and long-term impact if esports is included into the Olympic Games. Firstly, short-term impact. Esports have already been admitted as a main event for the 2022 Asian Games, and the Paris Olympic Committee, who organizing the 2024 Olympic Games, has not ruled including esports in each event. However, both the International Esports Federation and the IOC think it can be a demonstration at the 2024 Olympic Games, not an official games. If esports is included into Olympic Games, some other sports has to be taken away from Olympic. If so, it seems that a deep discussion will be needed. Furthermore, it is seen that esports have to prepare alternatives to resolve the problems such as violent and causing sedentary habits for youth. For the long-term impact, esports industry is showing a fast growth. If esports is included into Olympic Games, the growth will be way faster than before in terms of size and popularity. Additionally, esports stakeholders will be needed to make a strong alliance themselves, as mentioned by multiple stakeholders in the esports forum held by the IOC and the Global Association of International Sports Federation a month ago. Additionally, esports should prepare institutional system for protect themselves, players, athletes, and any other side effects, and Olympic value and Olympic movement.
Okay, finally, its conclusion and suggestion. There are three parts in conclusion and suggestion. Firstly, its positive effect with the esports entering the Olympic Games is to attract more young people to pay attention to the Olympic Games. The huge commercial value of esports can also be better developed. It can also promote the development of esports itself. Next, the second part is negative impact. If the esports under the Olympic Games, more teenagers will be educated to games and their learning will be affected. We think this is the most effect for the young people. Finally, it's some suggestion. For example, 3-3 basketball games entered to Tokyo 2020 basketball games. This is very useful for basketball development. So we think if esports is recognized by the International Olympic Committee and the rulers and the regulations in the field of esports are regulated, the popularization of esports is more conducive to the development of esports. Okay, this is our presentation. Finally, it's a reference list. Thank you for your listening.